Hello everyone and welcome to my CS24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The Curse of Oak Island. The team examines underground tunnels in the Netherlands for Templar clues. The Curse of Oak Island guys have been exploring castles, abbeys, and underground tunnels in Europe that have provided more compelling clues that the Templar Knights may have traveled to Oak Island. Oak Island researcher and author Corjan Mole and his buddy, historian Jacques Silvertint, took Rick and Alex Lagina, along with Peter Fornetti and Doug Crowell, to an underground stone quarry hidden in the Dutch countryside. Jacques claimed construction had begun on the quarry in the 13th century, around the time the guys believed the Templars secretly transported ancient religious relics to Oak Island. Corjan and Jacques led the guys through a maze of huge underground cavernous tunnels, which they think were used by the Templars to hide and temporarily store their treasure in the 13th century. These tunnels were all hand-dug, which gave us a good idea of the engineering expertise of people from centuries ago. At a section of the quarry shaped like a cross, the experts showed the Oak Island team a series of drawings on the ceiling they believe were created by Templars. These consisted of a series of Templar symbols, including a cross with 4 dots, a marking the guys have seen before from the HO stone found on Oak Island. Corjan suggested these tunnels were along the route Templar Knights may have used to transport the treasure from the Holy Land to Oak Island. The guys also visited a Cistercian abbey and a castle in northern Italy. According to Professor Adriano Gaspani, the Cistercian order was founded by Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, who was also a founding member of the Templar Knights. The guys found multiple symbols linking European Templar sites to Oak Island. At the abbey, the guys found more symbols and crosses that matched those they had previously found on Oak Island and across Nova Scotia. Rick even spotted a wall marking consisting of oak leaves, possibly suggesting the artist had knowledge of Oak Island. The team also learned that the Cistercians excelled at studying architecture, engineering, and navigation, and that many Templar Knights studied at the abbey. Adriano claimed that this ensured the Knights knew how to sail to Oak Island and how to build the money pit. It was here that the Knights also learned how to construct Nolan's cross in alignment with the stars. The guys did not really learn much of concrete value, but there were certainly plenty of clues and hints that suggest the Templars may have gone to Oak Island. The team will stay in Europe for another week, so we may all learn more in the next episode. Oak Island archaeologists find a medieval button on Lot 5. Meanwhile, back on Oak Island, where the real hard graft continued, archaeologist Moya MacDonald uncovered an unusual artifact on Lot 5. She found a fragile button with a strange starburst design, as well as an unusual decoration. The button had an interesting combination of lead and tin, making it quite rare. Laird Niven later said he had found examples dating back to the 13th century. Once again, that particular date keeps coming up. Many fans will also be cheered to learn that Dr. Ian Spooner has been put back to work checking water samples for precious metals in the Baby Blob area. This is being done to commence core drilling in that area. Unfortunately, there are only 3 more episodes left this season, so the guys will have to get a move on if they plan to find anything substantial. The early spring air in the Netherlands carried a damp chill as Rick and Marty Lagina stepped off the van into a cobblestone square framed by centuries-old buildings. This wasn't Oak Island, but it might hold answers that had eluded them for years. At the far end of the square stood a stone church whose foundations dated back to the 12th century, and beneath it, legend said, ran a network of tunnels built by the Knights Templar. Gary Drayton adjusted his hat, grinning as his boots crunched against the gravel. "Blimey, lads, if the Templars did stash anything down there, we might just be on the trail to the Holy Grail." "Literally," he said, running his hand along the weathered church wall. Their Dutch host, historian Peter Van Dalen, greeted them with a firm handshake and an almost conspiratorial smile. "You've heard the myths," Peter began, "but I've seen the records. These tunnels weren't just cellars, They were designed for secrecy. Some claim they link to harbors where treasure-laden ships once arrived from the New World. Rick's brow furrowed, the historian's words hitting a nerve. Ships, just like the ones we believe may have reached Nova Scotia before Columbus. He glanced at Marty, who was already mentally connecting dots between Oak Island swamp, the Portuguese maps, and the elusive Templar connection. Descending into the tunnels felt like stepping into another time. The narrow stone passage was dimly lit by temporary work lamps the local archaeologists had set up, their cord snaking along the uneven floor. The air smelled of earth, old water, and the faint trace of candle smoke from centuries past. Jack Begley ran his fingers over carvings in the wall. Look at this, crosses, circles, even what looks like a sailing ship. He motioned for Craig Tester, who leaned in, inspecting the marks with an engineer's precision. These aren't random, Craig noted. The measurements here, he tapped the space between two carved lines, are exactly 21 centimeters apart. That number keeps popping up in the Nolan's cross geometry on Oak Island. Peter nodded knowingly. The Templars were obsessed with sacred numbers. The same proportions you found in Nova Scotia could have been encoded here as a map or a ritual marker. Further along, the passageway opened into a vaulted chamber. In its center stood a massive stone well, its edges worn smooth. Gary crouched beside it, scanning with his flashlight. "There's something down there," he muttered, eyes glinting. A small winch was brought in, and down went a camera on a cable. On the monitor, the murky water shimmered as the lens descended. Then there it was, a glint of metal, not modern junk, but something tarnished and ornate. Marty leaned closer to the screen. "Could that be a chalice?" he whispered. Peter smiled faintly but offered caution. "Or it could be a drinking vessel from a merchant's table." In these tunnels, truth and legend live side by side. The team pressed on. In another chamber, they encountered a sealed wooden door reinforced with iron bands. The hinges looked like they hadn't moved in centuries, though it bore faint scorch marks, as if someone had once tried to burn it open and failed. "Tell me, that doesn't feel like something that's been deliberately hidden," Jack said. Rick nodded slowly. "On Oak Island, when we find a structure that resists time and decay, it's almost always guarding something important." With permission from local authorities, they carefully removed the iron bands and eased the door open. Beyond was a short corridor ending in what appeared to be a stone altar. On it lay a rectangular slab, covered in moss and dust. Gary, using soft brushes, revealed an engraved emblem, a cross patee surrounded by a ring of stars. Craig's eyes narrowed. "We've seen this cross before in Portugal, in Scotland, and etched on stones in the Money Pit area."